Hello, hello. Want to say welcome, appreciate the connection. Thank you so much for joining me today on this conversation about an important question that comes up so frequently and is often not addressed in the way that is a benefit for everybody. And the most important question that I hear come up over and over and over again is a potential client asking, what's your hourly rate? That's like one of the first things that they want to know right out of the gate. And when you answer that question too soon by sharing what your fees are, then I believe that it's a disservice to you as well as that person. That answer with immediately telling them what your hourly rate is, what your flat rate is, has some pitfalls if you do it too quickly. And the reason why is because people will falsely judge the quality of your work based on your rates. So low rates, low quality work, high rates, high quality work. So that's something to think about, is that they're going to immediately make a knee-jerk reaction as to whether the quality of your work is good or not based on the fees that you tell them. The other thing is that low rates appeal to price-sensitive clients, and that if your rates are actually too low, some quality clients might not even bother speaking with you because they believe that the quality of your work isn't going to be up to their standards. And then the third thing is that if your rates are too high, then there's going to be some fantastic potential clients that will move on because they will assume that your services are beyond their budget. They'll just make that quick judgment without even having a conversation with you to figure out where your fees will actually land. So that's some of the reasons why you don't want to immediately share what your hourly rate is that people will make a judgment as to how the quality of your work based on whether you have high rates or low rates. It appeals to price-sensitive clients when your rates are too low. People that are looking for more quality service or more of a relationship are going to just move on because they'll make that assumption. And then there are some great clients that'll just keep on moving on because they don't think that the fees you're going to charge them will fall within their budgets. So instead of sharing your rates immediately when they ask you, what's your hourly rate? Instead, you want to invite them to have a meeting with you. And this is where you want to structure that initial consultation, especially if it's that free initial consultation, where it is an information gathering session. So think about this. You don't need to pitch your services. You don't need to sell yourself. Those things can be done before they even meet with you, which is the topic for something another time. But what I do want to say is you want this to be an information gathering session, but not just about the things that are important to you. You want to have what I call a value conversation. You're focusing on what's important to that other person. This is where you're understanding their goals. You're getting really that insight into the vision of where this particular person wants to go regarding their business. And also the third part of the conversation is really you deciding whether this particular person is a fit for your firm or not. Because I know that too often, especially in the beginning, you say yes to everybody who's willing to pay your fees, and you end up with some low value clients as well as some headache clients. Those people that are low value, that give you the headaches, create anxiety for you, you hold on to and tolerate for much too long. So I want you to, right out of the gate, have that be part of the intention for that initial free consultation, is you deciding whether they're a fit for your firm or not. So I'm going to go a little bit further into how this works right now. The first thing is you will be asked about your hourly rate. And you really want to consider how you're going to respond before sharing your fees too soon. As I mentioned, your response ought to be that you offer a free consultation and invite them to set up a meeting with you. The next thing to consider is how you structure this initial free consultation. You will either position yourself as a technician or as a consultant and advisor. I want to say, if you want to be seen for your expertise as that consultant or advisor, then you want to follow a proven process. This is where you have that value conversation, which means that you are asking fantastic questions that really illuminate what's top of mind for your clients and understand the value of working with you from their point of view. And the other part of the value conversation, as I said, and I will repeat again, is you get to determine whether this person is a fit for your services or not. Okay, and the third part is that you don't want to necessarily impress them with how much you know by flooding them with all the details of what you'll do and all the tech stuff and all the financials and the data that goes behind that. I will let you know, trying to impress them with how smart you are often backfires. Yes, it often backfires, and here's why. Because too much detail creates overwhelm for that other person. It does that because you just love the financials and the data and the story behind the numbers, but the person that's meeting with you doesn't share that same love to the degree that you do. So when you overload them on too much information regarding the details of how this works and the steps and all the things regarding transactions and bank accounts and everything like that, oh my gosh, you just lose them. They can't keep up with you. So I want to say that this is where less is more. You do not need to impress them in that way. You don't need to sell them. You don't need to pitch them. All of that eventually backfires. When people get overwhelmed, they postpone making a decision and then they move on. So those are some of the things to think about how that initial free consultation, especially when you're setting up as a value conversation works, is you want to think about how you're going to respond when they ask you about your hourly rate. You want to position the conversation to where you're asking great questions in order for them to see you as a consultant instead of as a technician. And you want to really keep it simple, not flood them with too much details and information of how this works, because those steps are important to you, but they will overwhelm them. And then they just want to get out of it because it's too much anxiety. Now, I know that you're busy and that this sounds like a great concept, but as you know, I am results junkie. I am a results junkie. I just want you to get results. I want you to be able to put this in place and really start to enroll amazing clients working with you, ones who see the value of your work, who respect the boundaries, who really go ahead and take what you recommend and implement it. So that's why I created a 6-step guide on how to answer confidently what's your hourly rate. If you want that, I am so happy to share that resource with you. Just let me know below that you want the resource on how to confidently answer what's your hourly rate question, and I will go ahead and give that to you. So once again, please, you don't need to sell during your free consult. That's draining for you, and they don't want to be sold to. What you want to do is turn this around to where you're being seen as a trusted advisor instead of a technician by having what I call a value conversation. And if you want the free guide on how to confidently answer what's your hourly rate question, let me know below and I will happily share that with you. Loren Fogelman, showing accounting professionals how to double your income, working half the time.